Welcome to Tigers Untapped, a Bluff City media podcast. Stepping up to the microphone are your hosts, Trey Lasley and TJ Willis. Now, let's get to the show.
What in the world?
That war chant sounded super strained all day, man. It was like forced until the Tigers fans did it.
You know what did sound damn good on the telly though, sound wise. That University
Tigers
of
win.
Memphis mighty sound to the south.
Yeah,
I'm glad we got the band down there. We'll get into that. We got some action. Yeah, I got my Saquon Tutty.
Touchdown, baby.
Saquon. Needed that for my bet. We'll get to the Tigs total domination here shortly. But Timothy, tell the fine folks at home what we're sipping on this evening. We only got a couple of days of official summer left until the fall equinox is here.
Can you see this? This is September. Yeah. What do you mean?
Yeah, the last day of summer is like
fall
equinox. Fall solstice.
That felt made up.
Don't you drive an equinox?
No. I died. Kenny drives an equinox.
Now that we're done burning Kenny, this is Captain Sunner.
Oh my gosh, Kenny, he's short.
Hampline.
Saquon's short of the goal line.
Just trying to have a podcast here, guys.
Oh, sorry. Oh, says the guy who's been playing NCAA for the same game on NCAA for the last 6 weeks. Are you done? Did you give it up?
Yes, I did.
You just
I have not played it since. Wow. Captain Summer from Hampline. This is a Saison IPA. It's a lot of Hampline, but they're the only ones who's out there just gaining on the reg, you know?
I'm kind of surprised you went back to Hampline after last week.
Well, it's just what we've got, you know. That is such BS. Saquon gets the ball to the inch line, and then they let Jalen. They even have him in the game. They took him out. That is absurd.
Shaking my head.
Well, here's to the last week of summer. A fish.
Yeah.
Cheers, boys. Finally got some sun today for the first time in a week.
Goodness gracious, the weather's been trash.
We needed it, though. We needed some. It's true.
DJ, you need to update your background and cut that hoe open. Cut that hole open.
Yeah, man. Let's not be disrespectful to the Liberty Hole.
I'm working with what I got.
I just want to say y'all named it Liberty Hole. Not everybody calls it Liberty Hole.
We did. I can't take credit. We can't take credit for that. That wasn't us.
We had a whole clip. We had a whole clip about it.
It was already out there in the universe. TJ, why don't you show the fine folks at home what you're wearing tonight as if this is a freaking Notre Dame podcast?
Jesus Christ, man.
Like, dude, I just grabbed a shirt out of the drawer.
Bullshit.
I just grabbed a shirt out of the drawer.
I call bullshit.
What, out of the Notre Dame drawer?
Yeah, I call BS.
Just the TV drawer.
I find that absurd in every way.
Look at that.
Ugh. Jesus.
What? You just don't have these things readily available in your house?
Yeah, that's actually for me. I gave him that.
Hey,
you did. You sure did. For your wedding.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's not a Notre Dame podcast.
It is not, and we're starting off with some basketball news. A big charity exhibition announced last week. The Hoops for St. Jude. The North Carolina Tar Heels are coming to town October the 15th to play in FedEx Forum for a charity exhibition matchup. The women are involved in this as well. I think they're playing South Carolina, so a little double header. The men's game will be on ESPN. I don't know. Is the women's game televised?
ESPN Plus.
ESPN Plus with the Tigs and the Tar Heels to follow on the U.
Nope.
So
The exact opposite.
Oh, dang. I thought it was the same way.
Memphis, the men's versus Tar Heels at 6 on ESPN. At 8:30, the women play South Carolina on ESPN Plus.
First. Okay, gotcha.
Interesting. Seems backwards.
So hey, that's two big names for your exhibitions this year with Alabama and North Carolina. I don't hate it at all.
No.
I mean, it's fun. It's fun,
yeah.
but I wish it wasn't an exhibition.
That's true.
Right?
I am interested to see.
Give it time. Give it time. Give it time.
I'm very interested.
What does that mean?
I think a lot of people are excited about it, but I am interested to see what the crowd is like for a charity exhibition.
Might I suggest going and paying attention to the interviews that Bluff City Media and Gabe Kuhn have been doing with the good people at St. Jude, because they talk about what their goal is. They say this is us dipping our toe into the water for this to become
a step in the direction of creating a in-season tournament, multi-team event, if you will, one of those MTEs, not to be confused with the pyramid. What are those called? What's the
pyramids
acronym for those? Yeah, MLMs. But what are they called? MLMs. An MTE, not an MLM.
That's right.
I think one of the other teams that his name was leaked out there that was interested in participating this year was Arizona also. So
yes, they were.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're well on your way. If all things go well this year, I would assume that you're going to be a little multi-team event with some pretty big names going forward.
How many people do you think will, like, if you had to guess, like how many people are going to come to this game, you think, to these two games?
From an attendance standpoint? See, I don't know. That's what I'm very interested to see. The fact that it's an exhibition makes me think it might be lower than it probably would given a normal game.
But what's the cost, What's it going to cost?
Yeah, I think lower level was like $85 a ticket before fees or something. Depending on where you're at. I think it was like between 80 and 100 and something a ticket before the Ticketmaster fees were thrown in there.
You thinking?
But I don't know what that says for like club and the end zone. And yeah, I mean, I was thinking maybe 8 to 10-ish. I don't know. That maybe seems like a lot for an exhibition. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize
it's expensive.
Yeah. And I didn't realize it was at 6 o'clock. It's always on a Tuesday. Might be a late arriving crowd. Might have been, if they'd had it flip-flopped and had the men at 8:30, then it might have been a bigger number. I don't know. I'm very interested to see what it is, though. I think moving forward, though, if it becomes a multi-team event, you've got the likes of Memphis and North Carolina and Arizona and I don't know, Oregon or some big names coming in. I think that'd be a real fun event.
Yeah.
So kind of excited to see what the future holds for that. But get out to the forum for Hoops for St. Jude on the 15th of October.
Number one, it's for an awesome charity. Alsac, St. Jude, amazing what they're doing. I've been able to spend a lot of time at St. Jude over the last couple of days, and it is incredible what they're doing over there. So shout out to them for getting involved. People need to show up, man. Like, just let's not make excuses. Let's not find reasons to not come. Let's come and support, man. It's going to be fun.
Absolutely. And hey, a chance to get to see how your Tigs stack up against what's North Carolina looking like in the preseason polls, right? But, I mean, they're top 25 for sure, right?
I would suspect. Let me see.
Let's see. Yeah.
What is
not in the top 5. 10.
10. So that's 2 top 10 early exhibitions for Memphis to see where you stack up.
Because then they go straight to Maui and face off against
exactly
UConn.
2-time
defending national champions, man. I mean, It's a huge opportunity for the Tigers to really
You're
stamp.
going to find out a lot about this team pretty quickly, I think.
And I'll say this: yesterday, interview with Penny Hardaway came out from Gabe Kuhn as well. We talked with him and Rick Shadiak over at St. Jude. Penny, the language he used around this team, I'm excited to see what they do, man.
Give me something. Give me a little. What was it? French, Spanish? What do you use?
Yeah, he was speaking in French.
Romantically.
Oui, bonjour. Yeah,
Wow.
he threw that out there a few times.
That's your Penny French accent, huh?
It is, yeah. No, I mean he straight up said that, and you should definitely go watch it. But he straight up said that this team is more. He does not have to coach effort with this team like he has previous teams. That they and I want to be careful. I want to be careful with how I describe it because I wasn't in the facility a lot for previous years. But one thing I've noticed about this team is that they have practice from a certain time to a certain time every single day. And I've been there in the facility a few times after those time periods, and everybody is there still. Individual workouts, shooting around, coaches are all on the floor working with individual players. That is not, from what I've been told, that has not been common for the previous, specifically potentially last year's iteration of the Tiger program. Like they got their practice in and they left.
That final whistle blew and they were rolling out.
They dipped. That is not what I've seen with this team. They are there working well past actual practice time. So,
well, you like to hear that because if there's one thing you shouldn't have to coach every day, it's effort. You should just be able to show up and give effort every day.
Totally agree.
So
I think that's what Penny meant when he talked about it, like about this team, is that this team is not this team is different from what he's experienced in previous years.
Don't hate that at all.
Do not hate that. Do not hate that.
Don't hate it at all. But hey, looking forward to seeing that first glimpse on October the 15th. Side FedEx form. Go get your tickets now, available on Ticketmaster. All right, fellas.
I'm going to pop a QR code up here right here for tickets. Check it out.
Right there.
Right here.
QR it.
QR.
TJ's doing it.
Pause and QR code right there. Wow.
It's easy. Why would you not do it?
What a heck of a weekend, boys.
Woo, boy.
To say the least.
What a fun Saturday.
Total freaking Tigs domination. From play two. Play two on the day when freaking Coffee blew up the running back. The ball popped out 15 yards downfield.
Can I just say,
scoop and score?
Can I just say, I would love to have whatever the cameraman for that game was drinking, because that dude was wild the entire game. Number one, I just throw that out there.
Several instances.
There were a couple that are quite questionable. Yeah.
Like, what are you doing, my man? You are lost. Lost in the sauce behind this camera. Absolutely. I mean, real talk. Like, I feel like it was a dominant performance, especially defensively. We'd been asking the question of if this Tigers defense was better, if we could tell that. I mean, I don't know that I've ever, as well as they played against Iowa State in the bowl game, I can't, it's been a long time since I've seen our defense look like this defense looks.
Oh, yeah.
From an effort perspective, the speed they're playing, how hard they're hitting, like everything.
Yeah, it's like a Puente defense almost, you know?
I mean, it feels even better than that. Like, they're just flying to the football. They're laying freaking Louis Reddick mentioned it he was like, you're not going to find a team in the country whose secondary hits and attacks the football better than the Memphis and when was the last had anybody's ever said anything positive about our secondary, period? Much less to say that you're not going to find a team in the country that hits harder than our secondary. I mean, and the tone was set. Like we just talked, the second play of the game, and Darius Coffey set the tone for the rest of the day and how the defense was going to play. I mean, absolutely laying the wood and forcing that fumble, getting us off on the right foot. And then it just didn't. And it's not everything about it. Jordan Hankins play calling, like the pre-snap movement that we throw out there, the shells they're doing, the lining up as if you're bringing pressure and then dropping or acting like the pressure delayed. Like our defense just looks and feels so totally different. It's not even funny.
100%.
It feels like that as good as our offense was last year and we basically brought everybody back, it feels like the strongest part of this team is its defense, which is kind of wild to say.
Especially given the span of the last 3 games, right? I mean, looking at UNA, the offense didn't look that great. I think everyone agreed with that. The running game wasn't there. You thought they would just crush these guys, and they didn't, right? I mean, they looked efficient at best, but not even that efficient, honestly. Troy, they improved. And then you get against Florida State, and you're like, well, I don't really know what to expect. This is the best team we've played. And they moved the ball some, right? And they still stuck to the run, even though they weren't that productive running the ball. But Seth, the receivers, the O-line, they did well. But they look better, just not – they still don't look like they're in sync, right? They don't look like a well-oiled machine like you would imagine 3 games in.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of our running attack. It was essentially non-existent again on Saturday. We averaged 2 yards a carry, 32 rushes for 65 yards. DeWozier had a decent, I mean, he averaged 7.5, but most of that came on 1 carry. Had 4 carries for 30 yards and a long of 24. Mario averaged just over 2. So I mean, again, like you just said, this was probably the most talented front 7 we're going to face.
Absolutely.
I mean, outside of maybe Tulane probably has I would say the next best. But I still don't know what to make of it because, like you said, it's 2 of 3 games where it's essentially our run game has been non-existent, or you haven't been able to do anything on the ground. Outside of that, though, I don't feel like we played our best game. I don't think it was terrible, but it was literally never in question. I don't feel like. I mean, from the moment you went up 3-0, it felt like you controlled the entire game. It was always in your favor. I mean, I know that some people it came down to a Hail Mary at the end. They were never scoring, and if they had somehow miraculously scored, there was a -% chance that they were going to get the 2-point conversion. I can promise you that. I mean, there was no way we weren't. And I'm saying all this with confidence, but that was the most nerve-wracking game I've ever watched in my entire life. I don't think I sat down the whole time.
I didn't either.
It really wasn't even like fun to watch, to be honest.
You know how nerve-wracked I was? I couldn't sit down. I did like 3 loads of laundry. I folded 3 loads of laundry while I was watching the game. Like, that's how nervous I don't fold laundry. Like, I hate the way folding laundry feels on my hands. I did 3 loads of laundry. I was the whole time. Yeah, it was wild. Tried to sit down a few times. Wasn't happening.
No, but I mean, I've heard it today. I listened to a lot of the radio stuff today, read a lot of articles. Like, anytime we needed a play, I feel like we made it.
Sure.
Forcing a turnover, going for it on 4th down and converting. Like,
dude, we got
the play calling offensively, I think, was phenomenal. Like, even the unconverted 4th down play, Lanford was wide open. He just kind of bobbled and it unfortunately hit the ground, right? Like, it did. I think the only frustrating part on Saturday was like going into halftime, it felt like we should have been up like 30-3.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
There was definitely,
I guess,
questions around if they should have gone for a touchdown on that final drive right before halftime. Because they were kind of just if you watched it, I mean, it didn't look like they had any intention to try to actually score a touchdown. And I think that's a little questionable there, but it's the easy, hey, you get 3 points, you're getting the ball right back. So, it is what it is.
If we had gotten the tutty right before half and then came out and had that 5.5, 6 minute drive and scored the tutty like we did, it was game over. I mean, it essentially was game over when we came out. I mean, I know they came back and scored a quick touchdown, but our defense is, I'm excited about what they're going to be able to do the rest of the season. I mean, I know DJU looks terrible, but he had flashes of, he made some good throws, but we were consistently getting pressure against an offensive line that has played like
200
a combined. No, it's like 380 together, something like that.
Higher,
it's something ridiculous. And there were even times we were only sending 3 guys and getting pressure.
When is the last
Dennis
time,
in the back? Like,
when is the last time a Tigers defensive line rushed 3 and got pressure?
I don't know. I can give you that answer.
I mean, when's the last time we were sending 4 or 5 and getting pressure? I don't know. I feel like we never get pressure. But I mean, you look at it defensively, what we ended up with 4 sacks, 12 tackles for a loss.
That's dumb. That's crazy.
Is that not insane?
I think I saw something that said that was a stat. That was like a record. Excuse me. It was the most tackles for loss since. I'll look this up.
I mean, since the tackle for a loss was invented.
No.
I mean, holy Toledo. Defensively, Chandler Martin. And now we ain't even mentioned. You did all of this as a defense without Elijah Herring out there, who just last week was the conference player of the week.
Wild.
So it wasn't a record, actually. It was the most tackles for loss Memphis has had in one game since 2019 in one of the final games of Mike Norvell's tenure, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, but that was probably against what, like East Carolina when they were dreadful or something. I mean, we're talking about
I'm sure
12 tackles for, and I know that FSU looks all kinds of discombobulated, worst possible football team on the planet right now. But still, 12 tackles for a loss at Florida State.
Now, you know what's funny about that? It's like they don't actually look that bad. Like I thought their D line played really well. I think that they have skill at the running back position. I honestly do think if you had a better quarterback, this is a completely different story, right? If there was any faith in Brock Glenn, I think they would have probably made that move already. But I don't think they have the faith in him. I think I'm going to be honest, string guy more.
When DJ threw that pick to Rael, I was like, there's no way Brock is not coming out the next series. And I was
convinced,
baffled that he did not get pulled out at any point in time.
And wasn't that one of the plays where the defensive line rushed 3 and got to him on that? Like that was, they only rushed like a few players on that, and that they got to him.
Yeah.
It
was just all around super impressive. The timing of and situational times that Hankins was down up. I mean, we're talking about, we rushed 6 on the freaking Hail Mary. Who does that?
Yeah. Just wild stuff, dude. Just hanging DBs out to dry, but like it worked.
And shout out to Julian Barnett actually freaking double fisting, smacking the ball down and not trying to pick it off for time. It's freaking just smart football. Looking like Kenny up there trying to block a spike at the net. Like,
that's right.
I came away so, like, again, I don't feel like offensively we played our best football game. We left a lot of points out there, but defensively I could not be more impressed than what I think I saw on Saturday. Just as a football, I mean, that's our first road win against a P4 program since 2015, I think, when we won at Kansas, or 14. And it just felt like we absolutely dominated that Florida State team.
Yeah, I mean, especially just to recap everything that's been said, the defense looked very good, right? I think a lot of that Florida State fans will probably try to maybe call a little bit of sour grapes on kind of situation. But I really do think it was the Memphis defense giving them fits. It truly wasn't DJU airmailing pass after pass. It wasn't the O-line failing them. I think it was the D-line getting pressure. I think it was the linebackers playing perfect spots. I think it was the DBs making plays directly at the line of scrimmage, playing so physical. Like that shot that Kobe Minor had in the backfield, it was incredible. It was just everything clicked on defense.
Oh, that should have been a maybe the easiest pick six in the history of college football, though. I've never seen, he was sitting in a crouch position, just waiting for him to catch it so he could hit him immediately. And I'm like, bro, you could have been sitting there reading a book. He was there so early. He clearly knew the play. It was unbelievable. I actually had our buddy Drew texted. We were texting about it this morning. He tried to tell me that we just had so many breaks go our way, and I'm like, I can't. I don't. There's not a. Give me two times
counter to Memphis football.
We had a bounce go. I don't feel like we had a bounce go our way. I feel like anything that happened was a result of us making a play. One of the plays he mentioned was the muff pump, but I'm like, you got to give Hawkins credit for pushing the freaking blocker into the return man. I mean, that was
which is what you're taught to do that.
Right. He didn't just muff a punt. He didn't just drop the ball. It's because our gunner made a play.
I mean, Memphis dropped a fourth down pass that was right in a dude's chest like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like those things, that's part of the game. Like those things happen.
But no, I mean, now you control your entire destiny. And I think what's most impressive about that was not only it's on the road, it's at Florida State, like that had kind of become, we talked about it. It was no longer like the free shot that we had anticipated being. It had almost turned itself into like, if you want to truly have a shot at the playoff, like this is almost a must-win game.
For sure.
And they went on the road and did what they had to do to come out and put themselves in a situation where now ESPN has them as a 23% chance to make the playoff.
Let me ask you a question. And I'm trying to think of how I want to word this. What is going on with Rock? Does it seem like, is it just because of the offense just not needing to target him as much and rely on him as much? Is it just the outright drop in production, I guess is maybe the way I would word that. It just doesn't feel like we have seen him or Demir, honestly, perhaps as much as we would think we would. Like, I think he is the leading receiver for the team. I don't think anyone would have guessed that by chance, with 164 yards and 0 touchdowns.
Yeah. I mean, I think Seth said it post game, but essentially, I mean, defenses are keying on our playmakers, right? And trying to take them out, whether that's doubling them, whatever. I mean, last week you saw them hanging all over Rock and pass interfering. So like, obviously that hurts him statistically, but yeah, I mean, he had that big catch, 45 yards or whatever it was, right? Seth dropped it right in the basket. I think it's just defenses keying on our explosive players and trying to force other guys to make plays. And so far, Duosier and Doyle and Lanfear are stepping up and making plays when Demir and Rock and those other guys are covered. I don't know. I mean, I see where you're coming from. It does feel like our kind of deep passing threats have not really showcased or shown up yet, but maybe that changes this week.
Sure. I think a lot of that comes back to the amount of plays the Tigers have had. So if you look back, UNA, the Tigers had 56 plays they ran on offense. Troy was 61.
Gross.
And FSU was 71. So what we're starting to see is them ramp things up, run more plays. Now, some of that, obviously, with Florida State is just the number of possessions we had, but the turnovers and DJU just being a trash bag back there. Obviously, that helps. But I think we're seeing the offense start to ramp up, and I think we're going to hit a groove here in a second where I'm expecting some things to happen. Now, that's assuming if you can get some guys healthy. I think there's some questions around DeWosier, his health, and just kind of where we're going from here on out. Because if not, it's going to be Mario and Brandon and maybe Makari Bodyford. And you kind of start to, in a sense, limit the offense, I would imagine, if those are your options at the backfield.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't heard anything about it. You mentioned DeWosier, but on that 4th and 3 that he took a shot in the midsection rib cage area. Didn't end up coming back. I don't know if that's just because we felt confident in Mario protecting the rock and getting what he needed to down the stretch. And it happened with like 4 minutes left. So there's been no update there. I don't know that if it was anything serious or if it was just got the wind knocked out of him. I think they did show him after he got hit and he was on the sideline. It looked like they were kind of loosening the shoulder pads up a little bit, maybe to give him some little extra airway. But yeah, I think losing, not to say that we don't know, but if we lost DeWosier and you've already lost Sutton, it's like, because I feel like Greg has stepped in a nice and filled in nicely as a receiving threat of the back. He had that first touchdown catch. And he's kind of got that shiftiness and speed that you kind of look for. That's kind of makes him and Mario a nice little 2-headed monster.
Agreed.
The only outside of that, the only other concerning thing that I'll bring up is the penalties again. I think, and I'll shout out to the defense because we played a hell of a game. I've already said this, and had no penalties defensively. 0. But you had 5 for 35 yards offensively, and at times I felt like they really stalled drives or forced you into scenarios where you're having to settle for field goal. You had an illegal formation, a couple holding calls, a couple false starts. And again, we talked about it last week, but like the last 2-3 years, we've been one of the least penalized teams in the country. So just something coming out of that is like, we got to get that cleaned up.
It definitely feels like, though, that defensive penalties that keep drives alive are worse for a team overall than.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, it was good to see that we played this physical as we did defensively and didn't have a single defensive penalty. That's good.
Crazy. That's wild.
But, only 15 penalties on the year, which puts us 43rd nationally. But we're also tied with like 15 teams at 43rd. So
yeah,
we could be San Diego State, who's at 39, which seems a bit egregious.
That's absurd.
39? Yeah, it's up there.
In what? Have they played 3 games, or are they one of the that's
3
played
games?
2?
Yeah.
39?
39 in 3 games.
They need 13 penalties a game.
That
is absurd. That's gross.
An average of 116 penalty yards per game.
Oh God. Golly.
Gosh, that's a par 3.
It's a little wild.
I mean, that's a pitching wedge for some people.
I need to go back and find out what the hell happened, because that seems. It feels like something was happening. Like someone just like fell asleep while playing.
That's like
or something.
That's like 2 penalties of possession.
Well, didn't Keydrell have 2 in a row on one drive? Didn't he get the holding and then the false start
and then a false start?
Yeah, back to back.
I mean, so that's like they had how many 5 in the game? That's 2 right there. I mean, that's so technically
if it's a holding. It's a 10. So that's 15 yards.
Well, no, that's what they had 2 penalties. They had 3 penalties the rest of the game after that one drive of Keydrell. He had a rough drive. That was a rough one.
So
I need to look up
Xavier had a
rough game.
holding.
Yeah.
Had a holding from that 1st and 10 on Brandon's. Brandon had to run 1st and 10, 8 yards up to like inside the 5.
Yeah.
So that got called back. That was on that drive where we ended up settling for a field goal. No, maybe it was before that. I think we ended up actually still scoring. He had one. We had the illegal formation, false start on Chris Adams, and then back-to-back, Keetrell had a holding on 3rd and 1 when Brandon BT got a rush up the middle for 7 yards in the first down. And then very next play on 3rd and 11, false start.
I will say I was impressed with the way the offensive line got back into the game after that first quarter. That I think I texted y'all and was like, that was a rough first quarter for the offensive line.
Yeah, after the fumble initially, and we didn't put it in the end zone. I mean, we got the 1 first down with Kobe, but I was like, I think Seth got sacked, and we had maybe 2 TFLs on that quick little drive there. I was like, this may be a rough. But yeah, I mean, they ended up pulling it together and held their own. So all in all, big win. I don't, Calkins, a couple other people have said like this is a monumental win.
A monumental.
But it's like, I don't know that you can say that yet. There's been definitely better wins for the program. It was big.
It's a pretty big
win.
But
yeah, I mean,
it is, but you're talking about a team like at the end of the year, is this Florida State team about to be like 2-10?
No,
maybe,
but it's the fact that they're coming in with dramatically more resources to be 50 times better than you. And not only did you hang with them, but you kind of stomped them for a majority of the game until the end, where they started to make some drive. Like it should never have been that close. Even for a down year for Florida State, it shouldn't be that close. So I get the thought and the logic around it for sure.
And let's not forget even the commentary on this show about this game last week, right? Like coming off of a bye week, this is their season, right? Like they have to respond. And while yes, there's a lot of really bad things happening inside that Florida State locker room right now in terms of where things are with this team, whether it's coaching, whether it's personnel, whatever it may be. They should have absolutely played their best game. And I honestly do think there were moments where they played that they had drives that looked like what you would think a Florida State team would look like, right?
That one 3-play drive was very Norvell-esque feeling and Florida State feeling.
But it felt like the Tigers, every time they got any kind of pushback, instead of falling off, pushed back against it. They imposed their will back to Florida State. That is a big deal. That's a big deal to me, is that they didn't wilt from what could have been that momentum, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, even that drive, the final drive, right, where Florida State had all the momentum going their way, Jordan Hankins decides to rush 14 players on 3 straight plays, like, I mean,
wish that was allowed. No wonder it worked.
It worked. 14 got through.
It's the fact that Florida State spent like, I think the number's $2 million in NIL money on their defensive line alone. And you just went in there and won that game. $2 million on their defensive line alone. And you went and just won that. That's insane.
And only spent $500,000 on their quarterback, apparently.
Well, I've talked about that one. I don't think that's who they wanted. I think that's who they got left with, but that's not who they wanted. You get Florida State Cam Ward, and it's a completely different conversation.
Yes.
I don't know.
The leading the Heisman.
Dropping balls and all sorts of stuff over there.
Because they're being put at their kneecaps. It's behind their back.
I don't think it all falls on DJ. He's bad, but they got a lot of issues going on. All right. Well, as good as that was, are we in an ultimate letdown spot right here, heading to Annapolis and taking on the Navy midshipmen?
It's tough, man. It's tough. Because this is the ultimate. Has all the markings of a letdown game, right?
I've already had like 4 people today text me and be like, "Watch, now we're gonna go up to Navy and lose," and I'm like, "No, we're not."
Was that TJ 4 times? Let me tell you, Wet Blanket
TJ,
showed
TJ.
himself.
No, he has not said that.
This man over here, wet blanket throughout the entire game against Florida State. I was like,
wow.
God, the whole time in the Discord.
In the game?
No, it wasn't.
Well, the week before, for sure.
Blanket.
I think you got me confused.
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about.
Let's hope Seth doesn't get hurt.
Stop. Okay.
It's a fair statement. Let's hope he doesn't get hurt.
Seth throws a dime piece to Rock down the sideline. Well, let's just hope Seth's not going to get hurt before next game. What?
Can we stop it? Oh, I will say before the game, though, TJ spreading COVID-19 rumors.
Yeah, dude. That wasn't
me.
That was messed
That wasn't
up.
me. All I said was people were spreading that rumor. So if you hear it, just know that it's a rumor. No one has confirmed a single thing about anyone having COVID.
You got me texting folks asking questions. I got it.
We needed answers.
I got left on red.
We needed answers. So thank you for being a good Samaritan and sending that text.
Anyway, we traveled to Annapolis, 2:30 kick, CBS Sports Network. FPI gives us a 75% chance to win. I think it opened at 11. It's now down to 9.5. People are coming in on Navy. Navy's 2-0. They're coming off of a bye. Get that. Wow.
Shocking.
What a surprise. They won week 1 against Bucknell 49-21 and then beat Temple 2 weeks ago 38-11. I'm just not.
That didn't tell you anything.
It doesn't. I might take this 9.5, to be honest with you. I feel like we win by 2 scores. I'm just not worried about Navy. Temple is trash. They gave up 21 to Bucknell. I didn't even know Bucknell played football. They still got Horvath or whatever his name is at quarterback. And who it was last year. I mean, I'm just not.
I think so, yeah. I feel like he's been there for forever.
They're still running the same. I mean, they may spread it out a little more, but it's still the triple option. And to be honest with you, watching the way that this defense has played, I'm not worried about it. As physical as they've been playing, the way that they fly to the football, I feel like they've been holding their assignments. I'm just not worried about a Navy triple option team, to be honest. Would love to see us open up the passing game. I would love for this to be a Seth 350 and 4 tutty type of game.
I need to see one of those kind of games from him.
I'm not going to say something crazy like I'm not worried about Navy, as if we haven't struggled with the triple option pretty much every year we've ever played them. But if ever a year you are going to more or less shut down Navy, it's the year where you have a Chandler Martin, you have Elijah Herring, you have Bryce Edmondson, who's had an incredible year, by the way, like very quietly. I think Bryce has really stepped up, especially in this last game when he needed to.
Yes.
But he's what, 6th on the team in total tackles right now, and he doesn't play all the snaps. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Hudson, also one of the top tacklers. So 4 of your linebackers are in the top tackling list for the team. I mean, I think it bodes well for what you can do here, especially if the DBs are just going to continue to play lockdown. I think you get the freedom to just let your linebackers play football and be physical. You can go old school, run a 4-4. You can go bear front. You can get real weird.
Let Greg step up into the box a little bit. Greg has played well this year too.
Are we going to have Elijah this week?
Ryan said today that they're still evaluating him. So
what does that mean?
I don't know, because he was on the Bluff City Media's G5 Classified podcast this week and did not sound like somebody that was not going to play. And maybe he was hiding, his situation from us, but I don't know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Apparently, and I might be wrong on this, but apparently Ryan said that they evaluated him before the game and decided that he couldn't go. So is that a sickness thing, or is that
See, that's what I've been thinking a little bit of TJ's COVID rumor. Maybe he is sick. Post game, Ryan said it's a day-to-day thing, I think is pretty much what he said. So that made me think maybe it was some sort of illness related. Like he just,
right.
I don't know. Guess we'll see. I mean, I had COVID back in July as a second time. I know you guys told the listeners it was boo-boo bottom or whatever the hell you said it was.
It was.
It was worse the second time I had it than it was the first time.
Tracy, my wife, had it, and she just got back. I mean, she was symptomatic for the better part of a week, and then the symptoms, like the I guess the forward-facing symptoms, the ones that you would attribute to COVID, but she still was not good until today. Like today's the first day that she's like, okay, I feel better now.
Yeah. I mean, that's the same way. It was over a week for me when I had it the second time. Regardless, I don't know. Maybe he does. Maybe it was some minor injury in practice. We don't know, but it would be nice to have him out there. I think that just is a leg up. Let's look. We've won 5 straight now. Ryan's won 2 in a row in Annapolis. 2 of your last 3 have been blowouts, with the exception of last year. You won 35-17 in Memphis 2 years ago. You won 37-13. 3 years ago. 37-13 2 years ago in Annapolis. Obviously, that game last year was 28-24. And Jordan's going to have it figured out. We're going to have something in there that's going to slow them down. TJ, give me your score pick for this.
I do think the offense tries to get it going as much as possible. I think that's hard to do versus Navy, just the way they crush the clock. Like it's hard to be Memphis of yesteryear, dropping 63 points a game. Like it's just hard to do that. I do think the offense is going to be efficient. I do think they're going to find a way to establish the run game. And I commend them for keep going back to the run, even in that Florida State game where it wasn't perhaps as efficient as you would like it to be. But what it was doing is keeping the defense honest and making them at least respect the run game and to pay attention to the running back. So I think we see more of that. I will say this will be a 35-14 game, maybe 35-17. Just to be respectful, I always feel like I have to work in a field goal, but 35-17, we'll say that.
Okay. I'm with you. I feel like the running game was better than, as I'm sitting here thinking about it and I was looking at the stats. Nearly every we had 3 or 4 holding calls on Saturday, and every one of them was on a run that was, I mean, I guess that makes sense, right? If you're holding and then you're getting a 10+ yard run, then okay, it's because it was the holding. But I mean, that's just to say that there were times we were breaking off a run and it was getting called back for a penalty of some sort, which I think the one on Hill was very questionable. And didn't necessarily it wasn't an egregious hold by any means, but I'll say I think we'll see success running the ball. Hopefully DeWozier's back and okay. I think the passing game gets opened up. I'm with you. It is. I think it's going to be hard to put up 45 plus on Navy, just given the games are already moving quicker. They limit possessions, but I don't have any. I have all confidence in the world in us to be able to put up points with even limited possessions, and I think our defense is going to be able to shut them down. I mean, I'm 31-10. I feel like maybe 31-7. Maybe they get lucky and get a late one.
Yeah, a 3-score.
I'm just saying. I mean, FSU didn't get across midfield until like 3 minutes before halftime, and the only reason they did is because we went for it on 4th down and Lanfear dropped the ball, and they started on the 45. So, like, I don't know. Good luck getting across midfield, maybe. So, with that, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back, talk a little bit of FPI playoff updates. Are the Tigers going to the Pacific Coast? We know they are for basketball next year. And then we'll be back for Fade TJ and Thunder picks. And then rating this Captain Summer. We'll be right back.
Ja Morant and Zach Edey were videoed in the lab working on pick and rolls, and it got everybody hot and bothered.
Oh man, working on pick and rolls, post entry pass, lobs, like follows where Ja was crashing, Edey was coming in behind him, cleaning up. Like it made me fired up. He just looks so fluid and so smooth next to Ja that they look like a match made in heaven for their skill sets.
It's just nice to see it because it's all theoretical. You know, everybody's got a hot take when the Grizzlies used the number 9 pick to draft Zach Edey, a 7'5" big man out of Purdue. This should work. This may do this. This may do that. We've just talked ourselves to death about Zach Edey and Ja Morant. So it was nice, even for a 30-second clip, just to see that they were actually working on it.
Tune in to the $2 Sports Show with Rusty Witten and Drew Gann every Friday at 3 p.m. only on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
I think Jabari Smith Jr. and I don't want this to be true, but I almost feel maybe Tobias Harris, yo.
What's wrong with Tobias Harris? We've had this discussion. All the guy does is give you a double-double, 20 and 10.
Bro.
That's it. That's it. Every night.
Who?
Tobias Harris.
Stop that. Tobias Harris gives you a double-double 8 times a year. Stop that.
What?
He gives you
8 times a year.
I'm a fan. And this is what I'm saying because I continue to be like, he's a dude he's a tease. It's a tease. It's like, God, dog, he's sexy. But it just won't work. Like he should be, but it's there, but it's just when the games, it's just consistently. I don't know if you need more people to believe in it or something, but I don't want, and also just to get lost in the rest in that Houston team.
Tune in to the Night Court podcast with your hosts, Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight, on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Dirty. Fellas, we have taken a massive jump in the FPI the last 2 weeks. Either one of you have a guess as to where we're at right now?
Where were we last week? We were at...
I don't remember where we were at.
Last week we were sitting at like 64, I think. 66 maybe.
Well, didn't we go up from like a 2% shot to make the playoffs to now 23% shot? Isn't that what it was?
Yeah, that's correct. Somewhere around there, yes.
33.
Okay. Timothy?
The FPI is so weird.
It is weird.
I think they take... I don't know. It's something about like the way your offense looks and the way your defense looks, and they like find the middle ground. There's a lot of weird stuff to it, but Kenny says 33. I'm going to say 37.
We're at 49th. We had a 16-point jump this weekend. We went from, I think, 4th or 3rd in conference. We're still 2nd. Tulane is ahead of us at 45th. They bumped up 1 spot. I think last week FPI had us at 8-4 projected record. We are now sitting at 10-2 projected record. We have a 29.5% chance to win the conference and a 23.1% chance to make the playoff.
Okay.
I don't hate it. Now, if you guys want to go by efficiency ratings, this is a little bit more favorable. Efficiency overall, we are the 19th ranked team in the country. Offensively, 34th. Defensively,
number 1.
22nd. I wish we were 1.
I saw somebody. So I was watching the 247 Sports Knowles podcast. They're like super quick after the game reaction, and the 3 guys that were on it were like apoplectic. They were just losing their minds, like how bad FSU is. One of the guys,
double fries, no slaw people.
I don't think so. It might be. They didn't say that on the show, but one of the guys said that he was talking about the Tigers, and he said, this is a team that is like every other G5 team, a dominant offense, an offense that flies up and down the field with 0 defense. And he gave a rating, and he said Memphis was ranked 87th in total defense in the country. And I'm like, when is that? That's not true, right? Like the Tigers have been up there in terms of total defense all year, right?
Yeah. He might be going by the SP Plus rankings, which is essentially like KenPom for football. It also I don't know. ESPN has too many damn ranking systems. But currently in the SP Plus, after this weekend, we are sitting at, this is the NFL. I don't want that. Defensively, our efficiency rating. What is going on? It's logged me out. I don't know why ESPN does this. They log me out all the time. It's so frustrating.
But where did he get that number from? You think it's from this efficiency?
I think it's
it could be from Connolly.
Yeah, I think it's from Connolly. Because I looked at it earlier today. I want to say we're now like 73rd or something. So I'm assuming going into that game we were probably 82nd or whatever he was saying.
Okay.
Because that's all, it's the same, but they're also, see, the problem with the SP Plus is it also takes heavily into account last season. So right now, because we finished the year last year with like, I think overall offensively, we were 10th or something in the SP Plus. Right now we're ranked 37th overall. We're 14th offensively and 73rd defensively, which is a little bit different if you just look at the FPI efficiencies, because they're only focused on this season, whereas the SP Plus still utilizes a lot of previous season's data.
Well, that seems to be a flaw in that rating system.
So that I'm assuming that's where double fries and no slaw is getting the 82. Was before this week. We were probably sitting right there.
Which I don't know if it was double fries no slaw, but I'm a sicko, because after that Florida State game, you know what I did? I started watching Florida State podcast people and just watching them vent and talk about how they should have not lost that game, that Memphis wasn't that good, how we had a buddy send us a video about how like Memphis was terrible the entire game and Florida State just let it go or something like that. I'm like, dude, are we watching the same game?
Did we watch the same game? Yeah.
What are we talking about? Just you can't accept the fact that you were beat by a G5.
And you paid us $1.3 million to come play. Like,
right?
What do you think they're going to do with that $1.3 million?
Us? Balance that budget, baby. I don't know.
No, that's going
Fill in,
to
fill in the hole.
Memphis Rising.
Send the mighty
My
sound of the
guess.
South to other games. That's what they should do.
To our first round playoff game.
Yes. Which did you see the if the Tigers make it, who they've put them up against in the first round?
It
I've
just
seen
changes all the
multiple.
time.
It changes
But
all the
this week-
time.
This week I saw Texas.
I saw Georgia this week.
Oh yeah, okay. So the two ESPN writers have us with Georgia, and then I saw a different one that showed Texas, but at Georgia would be interesting. Although
A little rough.
Be a short-lived college football playoff, but it'd be-
Kentucky gave them quite a game.
Yeah,
That's a
you're
week
just trying
after
to be
Kentucky
there.
got absolutely slaughtered. So you never know. You got to play the game. Show up and play the game. That's why they play them.
it'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
Oh god.
It would. All right, so we mentioned it. 23% chance we'll keep watching that. I think most people have us as probably the leader in the clubhouse. I know Boise's still getting a lot of love, but they've already got a loss. So to be honest with you, if you run the table, I don't see a scenario in which you're not getting in. Unless
Yeah,
something
especially since
NIU goes undefeated because they're already ranked ahead of you and they won at Notre Dame, and Notre Dame turned around and looked like most people thought they were against Purdue this week. So Notre Dame goes 11-1 and NIU is their only loss and NIU is undefeated, then that may be a scenario where we're not getting it. But being in the MAC and given what Toledo just did at State, like it's going to be difficult for weird things happen in the MAC when you start getting action on Tuesday night. So I'd be surprised if NIU stays undefeated. They also have NC State coming up in like 2 weeks. So be hella impressive for them to go to 2 Power Fours in 3 weeks and win both of those.
They might deserve it if they do that.
Yeah, I mean, 100%.
I'd be like, my cap's on backward. But tip the cap. Got you, buddy. Well done.
So we'll keep watching that. Keep winning, and come mid-December, you might be finding yourself in Athens, Georgia, with a chance to make a title run. Who knows?
I still think my dream is still Oxford, the Grove, round one.
Yeah, that would be fun. It would be no doubt. It would be fun to be down in Oxford for a playoff game between us. We'll see. Hopefully, it is something regional that we can make it easy to get to. I don't want us going to freaking Eugene or something.
Yeah,
having to fly across
bajillion
country.
miles away,
Let's
flights
get
to
something.
get there.
Let's get something that BCM can load up in Kenny's Equinox and get to pretty easily.
I got you. I got 3 rows. We can do it.
All right. Speaking of Eugene, the Pac-2 is expanding and staying alive. They were hanging on by a thread. I mean, they were on life support, and they brought out the chest shockers, and they're staying alive.
Staying alive.
And your Tigs are being mentioned as a potential expansion candidate.
Not even potential. Like there are multiple reports
Heavy
tonight
favorite.
that it's Tulane and Memphis. They'll be announced at the same time.
Where are you seeing that? I saw
seen it.
somebody that
It's
had a
all
fake
over
Twitter.
Yeah, there's fake
I saw
Twitter
a
out
fake.
there too.
I saw a
Kenny.
fake tweet.
Hold on.
I know bookies.com has us as the betting favorite at plus 200 with Tulane at plus 250. Nonetheless, Pac-12 expanding. Washington State, Oregon State are adding Boise. You guys are going to have to help me with the 3 others. I can't remember now. San Diego State, Colorado State,
I think so.
and Fresno State to put them at 6. Kicker is they need 8 teams to be considered a conference at the FBS level, so they got to get 2 more by 2026. And a lot of folks are saying that Tulane and Memphis are your leaders in the clubhouse from the American. Timothy's not on board.
Why?
It feels like you're settling for something. They don't have a media rights deal, so like, what money are you going to be paid? You know how expensive you're going to spend so much money flying there. Even if you had these regional partners, like you're going to spend a lot of money making those traveling. It's going to be tough. I hope you guys, I don't know about you guys, but I hope you guys like staying up until midnight to watch football, because I sure don't. I want to sleep.
Oh, it'll be much later. The game won't kick off till 10. It's going to be later than midnight.
What's what I'm saying? Like, sure. I mean, midnight, you're going to be awake watching football. That sounds brutal to me.
This is rich coming from the guy who is tired of being the Big 12's booty call. The Pac-2 they're ready to go, man. They're ready. They want Memphis.
With what money, Kenneth? That's my point. With what money?
You don't think they'll get a deal? They'll get a deal done.
And look, these companies are telling them who to add, and then that's how they can sweeten the deal. But if there's nothing in paper, I don't know if I'm trusting it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if it doesn't make financial sense and we're not coming out making more even with the travel, I don't know how you do it.
You're going to make more, right? I mean, I think if you
right, but I'm saying is the difference big enough?
$7 million to travel.
Yeah.
You went back to what you were getting paid by the AAC originally,
And I'm cool with that. Just get out of the AAC. It's dying. They're about to add Air Force. Get out of my face.
They're going to die as well. They're going to eventually just look at your conference. It's not what you think it is. It is not a power conference, and they're just going to exclude you. They're just going to change the rules. They would rather give the third place.
Eventually,
in
there's
the SEC.
only going to be 2 power conferences anyway, or 1 combined of Big Ten and SEC.
You make the move, man. You make the move.
Look,
I get it. I get the potential issues with it, but you just make the move and you get out of the AAC, man.
It is 10:37 p.m. and I've yawned 45 times during this podcast.
It's on a Monday. We're not going to be playing on Monday nights. TJ, you'll be fine on a Saturday.
It's sleepy time.
You'll be fine on a Saturday. I want it for nothing more than just a freaking flavor change and to play some new freaking teams. Holy cow. Get Boise in here more frequently. Get freaking San Diego State. Basketball wise is definitely a better conference. I think 4 of those teams went to the tournament last year.
Yeah, it's definitely better for basketball.
But I don't know. We'll see what happens. Our name's being thrown around. Will they be able to get a deal? Are we going to be watching Memphis play Washington State on Apple TV in 2 years? I don't know.
I'm down for all of it. Oh yeah. Get out of the AAC, man. By any means necessary, get out of the AAC.
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather have Oregon State come into the Liberty Hole than Rice on a Friday night at 8.
Yes. Because isn't a part of the conversation that they're adding another division to the Pac-2, whatever you want to call it, conference, where it's more of those teams that are more centrally located, where they would be playing most of those teams?
I don't know what
they want.
It would be East and West or something, whereas we would be in the East with potentially Tulane and UTSA if they get added, and whoever else. I don't know.
But you're still if you can.
Hey, but let's just stay in the AAC and play Air Force and Rice for the rest of our time that we're covering the Tigers. That'd be awesome. I would love that.
Literally not what I said. So if you're quoting me, that is not a quote I've made.
It's on the T-shirt you're wearing.
Let's play Charlotte. Charlotte's awesome. Stick in that conference. That winner of a conference. Just because TJ wants to go nap time. Get out of my face.
Charlotte.
I'm not
one out this week.
If the money is worth it, go for it. But as of right now, it does not make good business decision. It's not a good business decision right now. It's just not.
Yeah, if it doesn't make sense financially, I don't think you can do it. But if you can figure it out and make it work, I think you got to do it because it's also not. I mean, doing this doesn't keep you from making a move further down the road, right? Like
100%.
just because you've added,
Well,
you've been added to the
We've
Pac-12.
never seen it
doesn't mean
happen.
There's a lot of
What do you
things.
mean? San Diego State's joined a conference like 4 times over the last several years and then unjoined it and gone back to wherever.
What?
They've done it twice.
What conference did they leave?
They left the Mountain West 2 different times and then went back.
Where did they go in football?
They never ended up actually leaving, but they withdrew. And then went back.
You. Like, clown. It's not happened. It's unprecedented for someone to leave a group of 5 team to leave a conference, go somewhere else, and then leave to go to another conference because that's buyout. You have to pay out your contract at your current conference, pay out at the new conference that you went to, and then pay it out again to go to the other one.
So are you willing to wait? Are you willing to wait until the AAC and all their BS gets cleared up? Is that the ultimate goal, is to wait till them? Like, because we just don't know, right? Like nobody knows. Like that's my question: is what's the other option? Stay in the AAC or stay in the AAC, or wait until the ACC gets all their stuff figured out?
I don't know. Maybe this
no
forces
I think people do know. Yeah, I think people do know exactly. Trey's kind of on the same page as me here. I think the ACC, if they have any fear of their conference being just shattered and broken down, this is the time you start considering adding somebody, right? But you're going to have to do it in a way that I think they're going to have to say, hey, Florida State and Clemson, they are worth that money. We pay them whatever they want. And then you start adding people and paying them by their value. So Memphis isn't going to get the same as NC State or the same as even Wake Forest.
But does this ACC situation with Florida State not feel like it's like the Saquon Barkley situation with the Giants? Like, this is what I would like to have to be able to re-sign, but hey, don't pay me that. Like, I don't want to get paid that. Like, hey, Giants, don't sign me. Like, I want to actually go somewhere else. Like, that's what it feels like with Florida State. Is they're like, yeah, we know what we're worth, but we don't want to stay here. We want to go somewhere. We want to go to the Big 12, or we want to go somewhere else. It's like, how long is the ACC going to ride this out with inevitably Florida State's going to be gone anyway? You know, like,
I mean, maybe, yeah. I mean, you don't really know, right? All you have to do if you're the ACC is get a new media contract deal, and hopefully there's no loopholes in there for that money to drop if Florida State or Clemson leave, and then you benefit from that. But clearly, there's conversations being had that none of us are privy to, right? I mean, everyone's saying just take the Pac deal because it's something new. It's a different conference. It's a better conference, top to bottom. Probably, yeah. I think that seems like the obvious thing there, but I just don't think it makes as much sense as it sounds like it does, especially if we have no clue how much money they're going to get made. Probably more than 4 million. Yeah, probably. But definitely going to be more than 4 million, but are we 10 million, 12 million? Like what is the value there? And I just, without knowing that number, I can't give it a grade. I can't really weigh it and say, yes, this makes good sense from a business perspective, even for Memphis in that instance.
Yeah.
I would just get scared to get left. I would just get scared that you'd be left out of any
100%.
If you don't make this move now, you're left out. You're screwed.
What does left out mean?
You stay in the AAC and you play Air Force and Rice and Charlotte, and you never get an opportunity to move out of this conference. That's what I'm scared of. Make the move. Make the move now.
I don't know. I wouldn't rush to it. That's just me.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. Conference realignment's alive and well. And we might be in the Pac-12 before we know it, brother.
Woo-hoo!
Pac-12 after dark. Here we come. Let's be real. We're going to end up wherever the freaking mouse tells us they want us.
100%.
They control everything. The only thing they don't control is TJ's betting picks. TJ, hopefully you guys faded him last week because he took Michigan minus 22.5. And Michigan barely got by the Fighting Butch Joneses. I think they won by 10.
Who knew
Was
that
it 28
Michigan State
or something?
or Arkansas State is such a powerhouse these days? Yeah, they won by 10, I
mean,
believe it was.
They went on a bogus tutty call against Central Arkansas in the first week, and now they're taking Michigan to the wire in the Big House.
It's absurd. Absurd.
TJ moves to 2-2, so we might be back to 50-50 TJ, Kenny.
It's tough.
Not shocked.
50-50.
Not shocked.
Just like we didn't even mention it, the win over Florida State this weekend put the Tigers' all-time football at 500. We're 50-50 Tigs. Let me get it. Hold on. I got to pull it up to see exactly because some are misleading. We are 536, and 33 overall. You beat Navy this weekend, and you're an above 500 all-time program.
I freaking love that. That's awesome.
If TJ wins his bet this weekend, he's above 500 program.
Feel pretty good about it.
I'm sitting at 4-0. So if you guys have been putting $100 bets on what I've given you, you'd be sitting at like plus 10 grand right now. That's not true, but you'd be in pretty good spot. So Timothy, what do you have? What are you liking on the board this week for your 50-50?
I think I'm just going to go back to the basics here. I think I'm going to ride the Irish on this one. I think I got them at minus 27, I think was the line. Look, they just hung 66 on Purdue. I think they played Miami this week, and Miami has averaged like 10 points.
Miami of Ohio, for those of you listening.
Oh,
yes. Miami, Ohio. Yeah, Miami, Ohio has averaged like 10 points for Cincinnati and Northwestern. So two teams that are not very good at football, and you're only averaging 10 points against them. So I feel pretty confident in Notre Dame's ability to just crush everybody from here on out, because that's kind of what they have to do to get themselves back into the playoff picture. So I'm going to take Notre Dame to cover the 27 points.
All right. I'm looking at the board. Oh man. I don't see anything that I like. Should I do us? I'm kind of due for a loss though, so I don't want to take us minus 9.5 and then
Please don't do
everybody
that.
coming for me. Is Louisiana good?
I don't think so.
They're getting 3 points at home against Tulane. Bryce +5 at Army. Ugh, I don't know what to do.
Go back to the basics, like TJ.
I'm going back to the basics, and I'm taking USC -5.5 at Michigan. Sorry to my bud Dilb, who's a Michigan grad. What?
No,
USC's winning that game by
ass cheeks.
They're winning that game by a tutty at least. Are they? Is that a bad pick? TJ has me second guess.
No. I said Michigan was bad. They just freaking struggled with Arkansas State.
What?
The Fighting Butch Joneses.
Yeah, Butch Jones should have been fired 5 times by now.
Let me double check what time this ball game's at. 2:30. Oh, that's a daggy. Yeah. USC -5.5 in the Big House. Book it. We're going to 5-0.
Quarterback.
Yeah. All right. So Notre Dame minus the 20. What was it? 27.5.
27. I had 27.
Okay, 27, and then USC -5.5 for the plays. Now let's get into this Captain Summer.
When the Memphis Heat is in full effect, let Captain Summer take the helm with flavors of mango and citrus fruit. The Saison IPA, it's kind of reflecting light, will transport you sternside with a topical vacation for your taste buds.
I'll be straight
aboard.
up. This is hopical. I got no mango or citrus fruit out of this, to be honest with you.
I got a little citrus in there. Not. I don't know if it was mango. I would say, but
Zero mango. It is definitely hopical. That is for sure.
look at Natch though.
I feel like I can scrape this off my tongue.
Oh, you definitely 100%.
It's not bad though. I could see how this is a solid summer brew.
For sure.
I like saisons. This is good. Way better than freaking
Shit,
pineapple
Trey, I could lick a
jalapeno.
garbage bag. Better than that.
I like Natch. He's got the sailor hat on. He's got a lei. He's rocking the boom box. I like the colors on this can.
Yeah.
I don't know what the orange thing is though. In the back, what is that supposed to be?
A mango?
Is it?
I don't know,
No.
dude. I've never.
There's too much orange in there. Can feels decent. I'm gonna go like 6.3 on it. Can wise.
6.3. Not too far off from where I'm at. I like the can. I think Natch looks good. I don't know if the lighting is doing any favors. I don't know if you can tell what actual color schemes it is, but yeah, green, orange, blue. It's fine to me. I'd say like 6.9. It's probably one of the better cans for me. It's because Natch is just looking dope.
He does. He
Okay.
looks very summery.
6.9.
Looks like he'd be out there in Dry Creek. Wow. I like this. It's a little hoppy.
It's fair.
I'm like, I can feel it in the back of my tongue. It's left a good film. But it was good. I would drink it again. I don't know if I'm going 2 back to back though. Maybe just 1 pint hits the spot. I got no mango, and for that I want to deduct points. I wish I could have gotten a little bit more mango in there. But it's like a 6.8, I think.
6.8.
Yeah.
I will say I read this earlier really quickly, and I thought it said Saison IPA. This is a session IPA, so that makes a lot more sense these days. For anyone that drinks beers and knows the difference there, big difference. I like the beer actually. I'd say I could definitely have multiple of these, but I know what you're talking about. Like I have a tongue scraper, and I want to go clean my tongue right now. It's good. I could see on a summer day where you'd want to cut the grass and then just crack one of these bad boys open. I'm going to say like a 7.4. I like this one.
Wow.
It is a little hoppy for most, so I could see some people not
Even with the
liking that.
tongue scraper.
Yeah, I think it has good flavor to it. I just think there's unfortunately some malt in there that's causing that issue, but I think that's more of a me problem than it is anyone else problem.
All right. No deduction for the call out on the mango and not getting it though.
I got the tropical fruit. Like, how am I supposed to differentiate between mango and tropical fruit?
I just feel like citrus versus mango are a little bit contrasting.
Is it?
Mango is not citrusy.
I don't know. I would say it's not a citrus. I would agree with that, but I don't know. It's all mixed in with beer. I could get the confusion. Kenny's never had a mango in his life, nor is he listening to us.
And he's muted. Triple whammy.
I've had plenty of mango in my life. I love mango.
Really? Would you consider it citrusy?
No, I don't think I would. Let me see. Is mango citrusy?
Are you asking Chat GPT if mango is citrusy?
I'm asking my girlfriend Siri.
Tracy listens to these episodes. Watch your tongue.
No, mango is not a citrus fruit. Mango is a drupe, which is a type of stone fruit that includes.
It is very, very stony.
Yep.
I know mango is not a citrus. You get that?
Mangoes are non-acidic, so they can be a good
Yeah,
alternative.
I guess that's
acidic
a
fruit
big
like
difference.
oranges and kiwi.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a big difference. Okay.
There you
I'll
go.
accept it. All right, 7.3, Trey. You clown. You talked me down.
Wow, a whole decimal point. Wow. Well, fellas, here's to moving to 4-0.
Let's go.
I've been a nasty girl. I've been a nasty girl. Where's it at, Kenny?
It's coming.
Nasty girl, nasty.
You don't have a push button?
Been a nasty, nasty, nasty. Is somebody gonna match my freak? Is somebody gonna match my freak? Is somebody gonna match my nasty? I got stamina. They say I'm an athlete. Is somebody gonna match my freak?
All right, y'all come back next week and match our freak and be nasty. Come with a cold beer, stay for the hot takes. We're out. Peace.
If you enjoyed this episode of Tigers Untapped, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Like and subscribe at Bluff City Media's YouTube page. Head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co for comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports.